Hello and welcome to Potterwatch from Page to Screen, Episode 9. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Lucy.
Today we'll be skipping straight over November and joining the gang for a spot of Christmas pudding. We'll also be discovering more mysteries within the Hogwarts castle.
Ooh. Last time, Harry, Ron and Hermione beat the mountain troll, aided by pure dumb luck, and Harry caught or nearly swallowed his first snitch. But before we begin, let's have our questions from the Sorting Hat. Today, Elizabeth will have the Harry Potter question and mine will be random. So I guess I will go first. I need to get a random number. The problem is as well, I don't delete them. I say this every time. Okay, I'll delete it today.
Time.
Okay, this is kind of boring, and I feel like I have asked it before. What's your favourite thing to have for dinner? Have we done that?
You haven't? No, you haven't done that before.
Okay, cool. So, what's your favourite thing to have for dinner? I'll delete it now before I forget.
In a normal situation, like you can't pick anything just like at home, or can you pick like anything at all?
I guess we could do both. I would say like something you kind of have quite regularly-ish, like your favourite thing to
Favourite family meal.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd probably go for pizza. Roman makes a mean like thin crust, like thin base, but then like bubbly crust Italian pizza.
I had Pizza Express for the first time yesterday.
Oh,
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah,
Then
I
I asked
like
for it to get boxed up, and I put it in my friend's bag. Halloumi bites and like a quarter of my huge pizza, and he forgot to give it back to me.
Oh no!
And then he sent me a video of him eating my halloumi bites this morning.
Mean.
So yeah, that's a good call. Pizza's pretty good. I would probably go either quiche, because I don't know what it is. I just love quiche.
I used to hate quiche, but now I've matured.
Really?
Yeah,
I just must be really mature.
Everything's like a texture thing for me, and before quiche was just too kind of like floppy.
See, I really don't like shop bought quiches, or most quiches you get like at restaurants, but my mum's quiche is more like it's kind of a bit more like a flan, I guess.
Right, yeah, I like
pastry.
that better. I usually eat quiche cold if I buy it from a shop, because it's the texture's a bit nicer for me.
Yeah, I find it a bit strange, but also I feel like that's a tie between my brother, who makes this really good. It's like a one pot noodle soup that for like the boys he does pork, and then for me I have like just corn sausages, and it's like whatever kind of greens we have, and it's really good. It's really warm and gingery. It's very nice. Proper comfort
that does
food.
sound nice.
So
Who makes that?
Tim.
Didn't know he was a chef.
What I love is that whenever he does make something, he really like takes his time, and like he makes something really good.
That's nice.
Yeah, he does a lot of Asian cooking, which is amazing. Oh, he makes really good. Are they called gyoza?
Gyoza. I love
like
gyoza
dumplings?
so much.
The little, like, crispy ones.
Fried dumplings.
Yeah.
Oh, they're
they're
so
so good.
good.
He makes really good ones.
And the nice thing about gyoza is that like Roman prefers not to eat meat if he doesn't know like where it's come from, etc.
Right.
So when we're eating like a takeout, he usually goes vegetarian. And you know, when we get like sides, we like to share, because then you just have way too much food. And the good thing about gyoza is that the vegetable ones are just as good as the meat ones, I find. It's like spring rolls, so good, just as vegetables. That's what I like about
a lot of
Asian cooking. Yeah, it's good with just vegetables.
It's more like the meat is like the side rather than the kind of core component. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's probably what I would choose. Like, if I could choose anything in the world, it would probably be something Japanese. I think probably like gyoza with ramen, and then I would have to have like some kind of mochi for dessert. I love mochi.
Are they the weird little eyeball things?
yeah, like the slightly marshmallowy texture.
Yeah.
I quite like ice cream mochi, because you don't get so much of that gooey texture
Right.
because there's
Yeah.
like a really thin layer of mochi around like a
Yeah.
large
That
ball of
sounds
ice
more
cream.
like something
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't bite into ice cream though, so actually maybe that wouldn't be great for me.
Yeah.
I'm just I'll just have to live
They
without
do a
mochi.
really nice like just strawberry sponge like a Victoria sponge in Japan as well. Sponge is really nice. I love dessert in Japan because it's not overly sweet.
Mm.
I don't know about other I've never eaten at other countries like dessert wise. But yeah, definitely the case in Japan. They don't over sugar things.
Nice.
Sorry.
Cool.
Just fangirling about Japanese food. We have a Japanese takeout near us.
Oh,
Oh, it's
nice.
so good. They do mochi, but the mochi isn't sweetened at all. And when mochi isn't sweetened, I don't find
Like
it
an
very
eyeball.
nice. Yeah, yeah. I don't find it very nice, but the rest of the stuff is so good. Ha! Anyway, if you could choose like anything in the world, what would you pick?
Uh,
It's a bit of a broad question.
yeah, I feel like I need some time to think about that. I mean, to be honest, I feel like as much as I love like trying new things, like there's something like I feel like my favorite food is like that kind of comfort food.
Yeah,
Like a big roast
homely
dinner or
Mrs. Weasley kind
pasta.
of food.
Yeah, exactly. Um, I don't know. I mean, yeah, like a proper Italian pizza is pretty. Can't
Yeah.
really beat
Oh,
that.
yeah, you can't. Like Roman has gotten really good at making like
Mm.
Rome Roman pizza. Like pizza you would get in Rome.
Yeah.
It's ironic. But I mean, you can't beat eating
Mm.
pizza in Italy, can you?
Hmm.
It's great.
Yeah.
I like that they kind of aren't afraid to burn it slightly as well.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Shall I ask my Harry
Go
question?
for it.
I feel like this is going to be a massive discussion.
Oh no.
If you could only take one class in Hogwarts and only perform the magic you learn there, which one would it be? So, like, for
Oh,
example, if you take Charms class, you can only perform the spells that you
that you
learn
learn in
in that
charms.
class. Yeah.
Oh.
So, like,
See,
say
when you
you've like
first.
done a week, then you'll only have a few spells, and each time you learn more spells, you'll be able to
Right,
do
right,
whatever
right,
spell
right.
you learn, etc.
See, I always say that I think my favourite subject would be history of magic, but I guess in this case we won't go for that one because I wouldn't
Yeah.
be able to do any magic.
No, but I
Um,
do quite agree. That is a really interesting one.
well, just because it's basically Harry Potter knowledge,
Yeah.
like I'd ace it. Um, I mean, I feel like you can rule out Defense Against the Dark Arts because you're not really gonna have to
Yeah.
realistically use that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Although I'd feel pretty safe if I ever got mugged.
yeah, that's true. Oh, that's true. Are we saying that are we like in the Wizarding world?
Um, I always imagined it that you'd just like be randomly teleported into Hogwarts
Okay,
and then just be a muggle for the rest of the time.
okay, but
Yeah,
you
you'd
can
use
use those spells.
those
Oh, okay,
spells.
right, okay.
I think I would choose
Um,
charms, to be honest.
yeah, I guess if
Seem
you're
like the
not
most useful ones.
living in like a wizarding community, that'll be
Yeah,
kind of yeah. Yeah, 'cause transfiguration, like,
that's cool.
it's
Like
quite
that'd be a cool
specific.
party trick. Like watch me
Yeah,
turn your glass into a rat.
right.
Be like, wow.
I would love like something about potions just is really
Mm,
cool to me.
that's true. Like you can make all sorts of crazy stuff.
Potions you can kind of do everything. It's like
Mm,
one medium
mm.
of all magic, if that makes sense. I'd probably go
Yeah.
for potions.
Ah, good call. I think I would suck at potions, so I'm still sticking with charms. Do you remember there used to be was it on the old Pottermore site? I can't remember. I think it was on the old Pottermore site where
Yeah,
they
but you
had
had to make
potions.
potions. Oh, I was
I
awful.
was so bad.
I
I
was
feel
so
like
bad.
everyone complained about how hard
Yeah,
that
no,
was.
I don't think anyone was good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just gave up making potions, I think, at
Yeah, I
some
never
point.
did. I never did it.
Yeah, I was awful.
Yeah. I only did it to like look at the cool art on the
Right.
individual ingredients.
Exactly. Yeah.
I liked that most about the old Pottermore was the
Hmm.
art.
All the art.
Mm.
The art is super cool. I post a lot of the stuff that I post on Instagram is the
It's
is the
the
original
yeah,
Pottermore art, just because
yeah.
it's super cool. I
It's
just love it.
cozy.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
captures the vibe a lot, and I really
Yeah.
like that they never draw any of the characters' faces,
Faces, yeah.
so you can kind of like project
Hmm.
your own vision of the character onto them,
Yeah. I used
which I
to
think is really cool.
I initially I was very frustrated by that, but
Mm,
I grew to really love it.
right, yeah,
Yeah. All right, cool. So together we'll know charms and potions and we'll
yeah,
rule the world.
exactly.
Nothing can stop us. Okay, so let's celebrate Christmas. We're recording this on the 11th of October, so that's weird,
Mm,
but oh well.
hmm. I am very excited for Christmas, but
I'm always excited for Halloween,
yeah,
bonfire night, Christmas,
and
although
I don't know.
don't know what we're doing for bonfire
Oh
night because we
yeah,
usually go to a public
yeah, yeah,
fireworks display,
we
but
do as well. I think we've
yeah,
gone pretty much every year since we've lived here, and
yeah,
now
they're probably
we
not going to
won't.
do one.
Yeah, kind of sad.
Depressing. Oh well. Let's think about the twins bouncing snowballs off the back of the horse head, shall we? That'll cheer us up. So,
I think this is one of my favourite, like, little throwaway comments in the whole
yeah,
7 books.
yeah. So it says,
Especially, particularly because of the kind of, I guess, rereading it later just makes it even more
yeah,
funny because Voldemort is the back of
yeah,
Quirrell's
yeah.
head.
So they're just smacking him in the face. And Voldemort can't say a thing. Oh dear. We also have a lovely opening of the chapter as well. So
Mm,
Lucy read an opening of a chapter last episode, and it's very similar. So it says, Christmas was coming. One morning in mid-December, Hogwarts woke to find itself covered in several feet of snow. The lake froze solid, and, here we go, the Weasley twins were punished for bewitching several snowballs so that they followed Quirrell around, bouncing on the back of his turban. So usually I have a little peek at the list of book to film differences online, and
mm,
I think it's on the wiki, um, just to make sure if I've been particularly silly and forgotten something. And it says here, this is omitted, and then it's like bouncing off the back of his turban, and then in brackets, and subsequently into Voldemort's face.
yeah.
I think I only
Oh,
noticed that like the third read through or something.
right.
It's such a
Yeah,
subtle.
I don't know when I don't know when I would have
Yeah.
realised that, but
I wish they added that in the film.
yeah.
Just did like muffled grunts. Oh dear. Did you sneeze? No, no, it was a fart. Excuse me.
I simply farted once more. Oh, yeah.
Oh dear. Anyway, then Draco catches Harry for a lovely spotto bullying, as I
Mm.
put it in our script. So Draco says, "I do feel so sorry for said Draco Malfoy, one potions class, for all those people who have to stay at Hogwarts for Christmas because they're not wanted at home. Isn't he lovely?"
Mm.
Um,
Wonderful child.
yeah, but Harry wasn't that affected because he's actually really looking
Mm.
forward to it.
Yeah,
Um,
as he should.
as he should, yeah, exactly. Who wouldn't want a Christmas at Hogwarts? That's the
Especially
dream.
if you've been being abused by your guardians for the last 11 years,
Yeah,
10 years.
yeah, exactly. And he continues these shenanigans later that day, or is it that day? I think so. When Hagrid is like dragging a massive fir tree down the hall. Actually, you're in the film where he like is literally like dragging it by its trunk. I always imagined when I read this, I always imagined like Hagrid like holding the trunk and then like holding it upright and the tree like bending slightly as it drags on the ceiling. And then as it like reaches the Great Hall, there's like no needles left on the top bit. Oh dear. I don't think Hagrid is stupid or anything, but I just always have that image.
You were just stupid.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for that. I feel really good about myself now. Yeah. But the film makes much more sense. Dragging it by its trunk. So Ron very kindly offers Hagrid some help, and Draco says, "I love J.K. Rowling's descriptions of like the way Malfoy like talks and walks, like he's like so like up himself." So it says, "Would you mind moving out of the way?" came Malfoy's cold drawl from behind them. "Are you trying to earn some extra money, Weasley? Hoping to be gamekeeper yourself when you leave Hogwarts, I suppose? That hut of Hagrid's must seem like a palace compared to what your family's used to." Man. And then Snape adds to the mix and takes 5 points from Gryffindor. What a lovely pair they make. I wonder if it would be any worse, and it probably would be worse, that's a stupid question. I was just going to say if it would be any worse if Lucius was the potions master. That would be much worse, because Lucius is not a triple agent. At least Snape is a triple agent. Spoilers.
Yeah.
And has like some kind of motivation to keep Harry at least alive.
Yeah.
Whereas with Lucius in the mix, well, I don't think
Yeah,
Dumbledore
that's
would
true.
ever employ him.
No.
No. Unless he showed full remorse.
To be honest, I'm surprised. I mean, to be honest, I don't really like. Well, I do like Dumbledore, but I think he's definitely has very questionable morals.
Well,
So,
yeah.
I was going to
With
say
his
I'm surprised
past as
he
well.
even. Yeah, of course. I was going to say I'm surprised he even employed Snape, but actually,
Well, he had good
knowing
reason
Dumbledore, no, I'm not.
No. And I'm not sure whether Dumbledore knows half of what's going on in those classes. Or maybe he does. I don't know. It disturbs me to think that he might know what's going on and is just not stopping it at all.
Yeah.
All right, so meanwhile, the trio have been looking diligently for any mention of Nicholas Flamel. Oh, I put Nicholas Flame. Since they can't keep their noses out of other people's business. That's what I was like, damn, like they really just can't let it go, can they? Like they hear Nicholas Flamel's name like once. I can't remember actually where they hear it, to be honest. Did we gloss over that?
Yeah, it was on the. It was
when they're
on
talking
the
about Snape.
with Hagrid.
Yeah, when
That's
they're talking
between
about
Dumbledore and Nicholas Flamel.
yeah, because they think that Snape is like hiding something, don't they? And
Yeah.
like trying to get Harry with his broom.
Yeah.
And
And
then
there's like Snape's one of the teachers protecting the stone.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he mentions Nicholas Flamel. So that's how we know about Nicholas Flamel. I think we kind of glossed over that last time. Oh well. So yeah, they've been looking for Nicholas Flamel because they just want to know who he is. And we go to the library, and the interesting thing about the library is that in the film, Madame Pince isn't in it at all, really.
Madame Pince being the librarian.
Yeah.
Of
So she's
Hogwarts Library.
Thank you. So it's probably necessary to point out. I'm just going to quickly look up Madame Pince because we don't really know much about her. Let's see. I doubt there's even anything on her on the Wizarding World.
Not.
No, there's only like a Harry Potter fandom wiki page. There's a very interesting picture of her on there. So there's only like guesses. So she was probably born pre-1966. It says most likely. Surprisingly, she's a human and she's female. Apparently she's described as having skin like parchment, like the colour of parchment.
Yeah.
Just It's quite a nice touch. Oh, apparently her boggart is Lord Voldemort. Don't know where we get that from. Let's see. Apparently from Lego Harry Potter. So it's probably a load of rubbish. No offense to Lego Harry Potter fans. I love those games.
Me too.
Okay. That doesn't really. We don't have much.
No.
They go, oh, in the like, you know, they have like a quick bio at the top, and then they go into more detail. So in the quick bio, it says pre-1966 she was born, most likely, and then in the more information bit, it's like Irma Prince was born a witch sometime in or prior to 1974, a completely different age. So weird. Okay, anyway, she's a very strict lady, and she loves her books a little bit too much, I think you could safely say. She's very, very protective of them. You know, that typical like librarian you know.
She's very like archetypal school librarian, isn't
Yes,
she? Like...
yeah, constantly telling people to shush. And I remember one particular time when they all have like massive Easter eggs, and Harry and Hermione are eating them in the library, and Madame Pince tells them to shove off, basically. Yeah. Which I think is fair enough. Chocolate can really ruin books. I know from experience. I once had like a chocolate bar, and there was like flakes of chocolate going off the book, and my hand was like slightly warmer. I think it was a warm day or something. Like brushed the chocolate off, but instead of brushing it off, it just smeared it into my face. It was so awful. Anyway. So they don't find anything again, and Hermione asks Ron and Harry if they'll keep looking when she's away, because she's going to go with her parents. Ron isn't going to go away with their parents because I can't remember why he's not going. I think they're going to visit Charlie.
Yeah,
in Romania. So all of the others, they don't have enough money to take them, I guess. So all of the others are staying at Hogwarts. And Ron has a nice suggestion to Hermione. And you could ask your parents if they know who Flamel is, said Ron. It'd be safe to ask them. Very safe, as they're both dentists, said Hermione. That always tickles me. Then you have the typical...
Although, to be fair, Nicholas Flamel was a real person, wasn't he?
He was a real person. I've gone to his house in France, in Paris. It's now a restaurant. And they do have in the kids menu, they do have like a Harry Potter kids menu, which is really cool. It's lovely. Cool. It's a lovely building. It's like slightly wonky, very Harry Pottery building. It's really cool. If I wouldn't like go to Paris just to see it, but if you're in Paris, it's definitely worth.
Might as well go.
Going. But
so her parents might have known who he was.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they could just be like, oh, he was some alchemist. Guy. Yeah, he tried. He tried to get.
I wonder if she
rocks
tried
into gold.
Oh but... No, I'm a bit stupid.
What?
I was gonna say, I wonder if she tried Googling and then I realised that wasn't a thing in 1991.
Yeah. The dialogue on that would be so slow. Yeah. I don't know. I I wonder if, because computers definitely like existed, but I don't know whether Hermione would have one. Interesting thought. I always forget that. That they're back in the days.
That's one of the things I love about Harry Potter is how timeless it is, because you don't have any.
There's like no mention of
technology.
Hermione got out her flip Nokia phone.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it so like it's really accessible, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. That's probably why she doesn't mention technology a lot.
Yeah.
So they start with the holidays, and Harry and Ron are just having too good a time to think about Flamel. I really like little description. They sat by the hour eating anything they could spear on a toasting fork. Bread, crumpets, marshmallows, and plotting ways of getting Malfoy expelled, which were fun to talk about, even if they wouldn't work. I really liked that. Brings me back memories of me and my brother once one night plotted to get up in like the dead of night. I think we just stayed up, and then we agreed that once everyone was asleep, we would creep downstairs and get this, the rebels we are, we would light a candle and see if we could make toast from a candle. Wow, how mischievous.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. And to be fair, we like lightly crisped it up a bit, and the butter would like melt on it, so it was quite good. I quite enjoyed it. Yeah. So we come to Christmas morning, and it's pretty much all the same, but I just wanted to read this line. Harry's like, "Oh, I've got presents," and Ron says, "What did you expect? Turnips?" Lovely. I feel like they could have said that in the film. I don't know why they left that out. Such a good line. And we have Harry's presents, which aren't really mentioned in the film either, obviously. So we got a wooden flute from Hagrid, which will be important later on. A 50p piece from Vernon and Petunia. So their message says, "We received your message and enclose your Christmas present from Uncle Vernon and Aunt Petunia. Sellotaped to the note was a 50p piece." That's friendly, said Harry. The fact that that's friendly, it's so sad.
Yeah, this makes me really happy, because for my birthday, my grandma for some reason sends very specific, how usually you'll get like a fiver or maybe a tenner from your grandma. My grandma sends very specific amounts, so I think for my 17th birthday I got £7.50. So I got a £5 note and then two £1 coins and a 50p taped to a piece of paper.
Cool.
And I was like, "It's like Harry Potter." And I was like,
Yeah.
"What are you talking about? It's a coin taped to paper." I was like, "Yeah."
Duh.
Yeah,
It's not
of course.
one bit in Harry Potter. It's mentioned for half a paragraph.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like quirky things like that. So Ron is very, very excited by the 50p piece. Like, "Weird," he said. "What a shape! This is money." And Harry very graciously lets him keep it, even though Ron will never use it. But it's not like Harry is going to be allowed to go shopping anyway, so.
True.
He also got a thick hand-knitted sweater in emerald green and a large box of homemade fudge from Mrs. Weasley. I would have loved for the jumper to be emerald green. I would wear it all the time if it was emerald green.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, that would, yeah, you'd look really good in emerald green actually as well.
Does it have an H on it?
No, it doesn't. So
it's just emerald green.
The only ones that have letters, when I'll come to this later, but I'll just say it now, are Fred, George's and Percy's, interestingly enough.
I like as well, because also as the books go on, she knits it with like, doesn't Harry get one with like a snitch on it? And
in one of the books, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Not in this one.
No. Yeah, I kind of like that in the books.
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't produced, one like that. I guess it's because the studio tour is all about the films.
No, right, exactly.
They have so many things that aren't like in the films.
Yeah.
It's really
like
frustrating.
My Holyhead Harpies flag.
Exactly, yeah. Anyway, a large box of chocolate frogs from Hermione, and I wanted to know, when did she buy this? Is it because I don't think Harry and Ron bought Hermione or each other any presents at this point. I tried to look, but I didn't really see any. But feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, dear listeners, if anyone is listening. But yeah, I
Mums.
don't. Yeah. Mum.
Yeah.
Although my mum said that because they're so long, she hasn't been able to get past the second one yet. Or I think she might be on the third one, I don't know. But so in like a couple of years' time, she'll be on
Yeah.
this one. Still trying to catch up. Um, so yeah, I don't think they got each other anything, and I think Hermione was able to get these because obviously her and her parents would have to like leave the magical world, and
Yeah.
they might have like stopped off in Diagon Alley along the
Yeah, I
way,
guess if
or
they were in London, because she
yeah,
would have got picked up from London. I've
yeah.
never thought about that before. Yeah, I assume. But where can you buy chocolate frogs in Diagon Alley?
I don't know, or maybe maybe she just took a quick trip into Hogsmeade before train left.
Can they do that?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we don't know. Oh no, never mind. I was gonna say we don't know if her parents like took the Hogwarts Express to come and meet her, but I don't think that's likely at all.
No. I mean, it doesn't really matter how
No, it
she
doesn't
bought
matter.
this box of
It doesn't
chocolate
matter at
frogs.
all.
But now you've said it,
It
that's going to
bugs
keep me up
me.
tonight.
Yeah. How did she get their presents? And an invisibility cloak from no one. I was going to put it from a secret admirer, and then I realised that it's from Dumbledore, and that would just feel wrong.
That would be very strange.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, so here's where the other jumpers are mentioned. So Fred and George come in, says, "Hey, look, Harry's got a Weasley jumper too." Fred and George were wearing blue jumpers, one with a large yellow F on it and the other with a large yellow G. "Harry's is better than ours, though," said Fred, holding up Harry's jumper. "She obviously makes more of an effort if you're not family." I can relate to that. Like when you like bring people round for tea and your mum just like pulls out all the stops trying to like make a nice thing. "Why aren't you wearing yours, Ron?" George demanded. "Come on, get it on. They're lovely and warm." "I hate maroon," Ron moaned half-heartedly as he pulled it over his head. And then here's where we know nobody else has a letter on theirs. "You haven't got a letter on yours," George observed. And he says, "I suppose she thinks you don't forget your name. But we're not stupid. We know we're called Gredenforge." And then Percy comes in, and he has a letter on his. Fred says, "P for prefect. Get it on, Percy. Come on, we're all wearing ours. Even Harry got one." "I don't want," said Percy thickly as the twins forced a jumper over his head, knocking his glasses askew. "And you're not sitting with the prefects today either," said George. "Christmas is a time for family." And they frog marched Percy from the room, his arms pinned to his sides by his jumper. Oh dear. That makes me really sad to think what kind of person Percy becomes, but he redeemed himself.
Yeah.
All right in the end.
How old is he here, though?
Here, so he's a prefect. I think that is
so fifth year.
Is it fifth or sixth?
Oh.
Oh no, that's fifth. That's fifth,
yeah,
and then
fifth.
sixth. Does it skip a year in sixth, and then you get head boy into? I can't remember.
Or do you just stay prefect for the rest of?
Maybe.
Although
For the rest of time. I honestly can't remember. That's a good question.
I don't think they really mention it in the sixth one, do they?
No.
Like being prefects. So
No.
maybe it's just fifth years. Because I guess that would make sense because you have like basically owl students and then newt students.
Yeah.
Having different levels of
Yeah.
authority.
That's true. Yeah, that would make sense. He's in fifth year, so that means that he would be 16 or 15?
15 going on 16.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad that even at 15, probably, because statistically speaking, his birthday's probably in the late half of the school year.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad that at 15 he's already, like, doesn't want to sit with his family for Christmas, doesn't want to
Yeah, he's already like obsessed with that hierarchy, like I'm the prefect, I sit with the free prefects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a little bit random, but one of my real pet peeves, I guess, of Harry Potter is that all the Weasleys are sorted into Gryffindor because
Yeah.
they're not all Gryffindors.
Maybe it's
Um,
because when they're sorted, they want to be with their family, and so they all just
yeah,
choose Gryffindor.
I guess so. But I
And
feel like
like
it's also
Bill
just the
and
hat being
Charlie as
like,
well. Yeah, Bill and Charlie as well, I think are big role models for all of the boys and
that's very
Ginny.
true. And I
Um,
would say they're both definitely Gryffindors.
yeah,
So I suppose if they're, yeah, that's a good point actually. If their parents and them are their role models and that's what they aspire to be, then that's obviously what
yeah,
they value. So yeah, that's a good
yeah.
point.
But it is strange that Percy would pick it over Ravenclaw, although I think
Or even
Gryffindor
Slytherin.
has, yeah,
Although no, he wouldn't pick Slytherin because of
because
the
of the stigma.
what's the yeah stigma.
Yeah, so I think that's probably why he picked Gryffindor over Ravenclaw because Gryffindor is the more like popular choice. So like in his Slytherin way, I guess Gryffindor is
I
the
think
best choice.
mostly as well the hat is just like Weasley,
Oh
Gryffindor.
well, yeah, I just love him
Yeah.
in Gryffindor.
Ah, another Weasley. I
Yeah.
know just what to do with you.
Gryffindor. I love Rupert's face when he says that. He's like,
Yeah, me
ah,
too.
oh dear. So then we have Christmas dinner. Well, I wish we were having Christmas dinner. Um, so I'm just gonna say what they had on the table because it's just, oh, it sounds so good. 100 fat roast turkeys, which I thought was a bit excessive for the amount of people
Bit
staying.
much.
Yeah. Mountains of roast and boiled potatoes, platters of fat chipolatas, tureens of buttered peas. So, if by any chance we have any people who aren't English listening, a tureen is kind of like a elevated bowl, kind of like a gravy boat,
Is
but
Turin a British thing?
yeah, I think so because I remember them
Oh.
mentioning it on Swish and Flick, and they had no idea what a
Oh.
tureen is.
Oh, I vaguely remember that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I just thought I'd point out it's kind of like a bowl with
It's like a bowl.
on a stilt,
It's like a
kind of.
fancy bowl.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
fancy bowl, and it sounds like it's like a massive bowl, but they're quite dainty. Um, Silver boats of thick, rich gravy and cranberry
Oh.
sauce. And I thought I'd describe the wizard crackers because they really interest me. So obviously, not a lot of countries have crackers either. So I thought I'd describe what crackers actually are. So crackers are predominantly, I believe, English tradition. Although I think they have them in Germany, but I'm not sure. I don't know much about it to be honest. We definitely have them here in England, and what you have is you usually put like a cracker in between each place at the table. So
It's like a cylinder of cardboard, basically.
yeah, it's like a cylinder of cardboard with like it looks a bit like a large sweet, like a large boiled
Yeah.
sweet,
Yeah.
and you each hold like one of the if it was on a boiled sweet, like the wrapper end. And you usually have like in our family anyway, we usually have like one in each hand.
We always cross our
Oh yeah,
arms
some people cross
and
their
pull.
arms, yeah, and
Yeah.
like pull, and the quote quote winner is the one that has like the main body of the cracker still left in their hand, and you
It's
get
kind of
like
like a
a
wishbone.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
similar
it's
kind of
like a wishbone,
concept.
yeah, but you actually get
And there's
stuff.
stuff in it. Yeah.
So there's usually a standard cracker, there's usually a paper hat that looks a bit like a crown, and they come in a variety of colours, a little joke, and a useless gift of some kind. So that might be little,
Paperclip.
yeah, a paper clip or a tiny little dice or a little fish that tells you what your emotions are by the
Yeah,
way it
that's my
curves.
favourite.
Yeah, a little puzzle maybe, and there's usually a joke inside as well.
Or a
But
fact or something
yeah, or a fact.
sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes
And they're
there's fact.
notoriously awful.
Yeah,
That's
they're
kind of
always
part of the
awful.
gag is that the jokes are
They're
always
just
so bad.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And you can get like really fancy ones as well, with, like little bits of like little bottles of alcohol I've seen as well. Although I hope they're in plastic packaging because otherwise they would smash all over the floor. But anyway, so you can get all sorts, but obviously wizards do it much better than muggles. So
As usual.
yeah, so in Muggle crackers they have like these little I don't know what it is, but they're like little charges that kind of go off with
It's
a
like
crack.
gunpowder,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's a tiny little bit of powder. Yeah, goes off with a crack. But it says it didn't just bang, it went off with a blast like a cannon and engulfed them all in a cloud of blue smoke. While from the inside exploded a rear admiral's hat and several live white mice. Up on the high table, Dumbledore had swapped his pointed wizard's hat for a flowered bonnet and was chuckling merrily at a joke Professor Flitwick had just read him. And then I just thought I'd skip ahead to where Harry is carrying all of his stuff from the crackers that he's won. Oh, where is it? Here we go. When Harry finally left the table, he was laden down with a stack of things out of the crackers, including a pack of non-explodable luminous balloons. Which I want one of those, especially for Matilda. I think she would love that. A grow your own warts kit, and his own new wizard chess set. The white mice had disappeared, and Harry had a nasty feeling they were going to end up as Mrs. Norris's Christmas dinner. I'm not sure whether they would be real mice, though, because that stinks of animal cruelty.
I mean, Wizarding World isn't the best for that.
No, it's really not. That's true. That's a good point.
But I feel like, I don't think they're live mice put inside a cardboard tube.
Yeah. I think it's probably just like a enchantment that looks like wild. White mice.
Kind of like chocolate frogs, but made of chocolate.
Yeah. I always think it must be really weird to eat one of those chocolate frogs. Anyway, maybe when you put it in your mouth, it just turns back into chocolate.
Well, no, because let's hope.
So let's go back to Christmas dinner. So after dinner, there's this tradition which my family never have done because we don't eat or drink alcohol, but it's quite a famous tradition where you have this Christmas pudding, which is essentially a very dense fruit cake.
I'm not a fan myself of
I hate Christmas pudding. It's a very traditional, it's often used as like wedding cake as well, fruit cake, with like marzipan on the top. And I've actually, last year I had some Christmas pudding and I actually quite liked it. I was like, what's going on with me? But yeah, it's not the nicest of cakes. But what you do is you pour a little bit of alcohol over the top and then you set it on fire and it creates this really amazing looking blue flame as you bring it in. It's like a really nice table centerpiece. And then you waft out the flame and then the alcohol has embedded itself into the cake and it makes it taste even nicer, apparently. Not that I would. And another tradition is to hide a coin in and you're the lucky person if you find the coin, and Percy finds the coin, which is a silver stickle.
I see, we've never done that, but that just sounds so much fun.
Yeah,
I really
it does
wanna,
sound fun.
Even though I would probably choke on the coin.
You could do it really easy with mince pies or something. Just put a coin.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, if you don't like Christmas cake, or
I always have apple pies at Christmas because I don't really like mince pies either.
Yeah, no, I don't like mince pies; too strong. Me and Roman do a Swiss tradition on the 6th of December, which is quite a prominent day in a lot of other European countries. It's like Santa Claus Day, or how they call it, Sammy Claus Day, and you eat these bread things. I can't remember what they're called, unfortunately, but they're usually shape them into men or an animal or something. Usually it's a little character. And I was like, I could put a little coin in one of the men or something. That'd be a cool way of doing it.
Minus the Christmas pudding.
Yeah. Then in the afternoon, they all had a snowball fight and they came back and played chess, and Harry lost spectacularly to Ron. He suspected that he wouldn't have lost so badly if Percy hadn't tried to help him so much. I should mention Christmas tea, which sounds nice. After a tea of turkey sandwiches, crumpets, trifle and Christmas cake, everyone felt too full and sleepy to do much before bed except sit and watch Percy chase Fred and George all over the Gryffindor Tower because they'd stolen his prefect badge. The trifle is a layered dessert.
Dessert, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
with
like jelly and cream and
jelly, sponge, cream,
custard.
custard.
It's
Yeah.
a bit of a mess, really.
Oh, it's so good.
It's a classic.
Yeah, it's
Or
so
here's the big
classic.
question. This should have been my question at the beginning. Set or like runny custard in a trifle?
Set.
Like jelly consistency
Yeah,
set.
because that's the way that that's the way that's the way both of my grandmas did it.
Right.
Although you know what really bugs me is what I can't remember which one, but one of my grandmas did like a proper sponge in the middle, and it used to get so wet and moist, and I hated that consistency. But the other one, I think no, I can't remember. I think overall, in general, I enjoyed my mum's grandma's, my mum's trifle because she put like these little sweets on top that we called grass.
Oh.
It's like Angelica, I think it's called. It's really like sweet things that look a bit like stalks of grass when you poke it into the cream. And they tasted so good. But I really enjoyed what my dad's mum did. She put, do you know what lady fingers are? So they're quite an old thing. So I think they're called ladies' fingers or lady fingers. I can't remember. Maybe I'm making that up. But they're basically like hard sticks of sponge, like overbaked
cat
sponge.
tongues.
Oh, is that what they're called? With like sprinkled sugar over
Yeah,
the
like
top.
sugar on one side, like
Yeah.
they're really dense and
Yeah.
dry. Yeah.
And she used to line the trifle with those on the outside, and they wouldn't get nearly as soggy.
Yeah, we do cat tongues
Ah,
in our
nice.
trifle.
Oh, you call them cat tongues.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Weird. I used to call them ladyfingers. Ladyfinger English biscuit. Yeah, ladyfingers. I don't know where you got cat tongues
I'm
from.
gonna Google it.
Yeah, apparently a lot of people use them for tiramisu.
That's so strange.
I can
Oh,
see
I think-
why you call them cat tongues because they're very rough.
Yeah, it's a bit of a gross image, isn't it?
It is, but ladyfinger isn't.
It's not much better. A bit like daintier though, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Than cat tongues.
Yeah. Okay, right. Let's stop talking about cat tongues and ladyfingers. I mean, that should be the title for this.
Cat tongues and ladyfingers.
Yeah. So it says it had been Harry's best Christmas day ever, yet something had been nagging at the back of his mind all day. But I won't detail any of that because it's now Lucy's turn.
Oh.
You've got quite a big section, I do apologise.
Yeah, it's alright. Funny enough, I quite like talking about Harry Potter, so it's okay.
That's true.
Sorry if it's a bit more echoey now. I've moved to the kitchen,
Okay.
so it's probably going to sound a bit different. But yeah, so this next section is about a little thing called the Mirror of Erised.
Cheeky little thing.
Yeah, so I mean, we all know what this is going to be about.
Yeah.
Harry's thinking about how he's just got this invisibility cloak and he doesn't know what to do with it. Like, what should he do? Where should he go? And so he decides to creep out and go to the library to look.
The rebel he is. He
to-
goes to the library.
Forget toasting toast on a candle. He's going to the library. And as he leaves, the fat lady squawks, "Who's there?" And Harry just says nothing. Walks past her.
That'd be a
That's
nice little
confused.
detail in the film.
Yeah. You don't really see them leave the portrait all much, do
They
you?
just like teleport up.
They just, yeah, exactly. Which, I mean, makes sense. It's not really essential, is it?
Yeah. I always am confused because in the book they describe it as the portrait hole and they like clamber through it. I'm like, what exactly is the portrait hole? Like, is it literally a hole in the wall that's like a foot above the ground? It's really weird.
Yeah, that's what I always imagined it. Maybe even more than that, with like maybe like a couple of steps up to it that you kind of
Oh.
because it's a portrait, so it can't be on the ground.
I always
You know,
imagined
like
that it almost touched the ground. It was such a large portrait, like a massive portrait, like a
Right.
door-sized.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But then
See,
I
that also
imagine the
makes sense.
hole's like maybe just a foot and a half or 2 feet above the ground.
Oh, I mean, sorry, we're going on so many tangents now, but the location of the yeah, in the third film, the location of the fat lady, half really bothers me, but then also that scene where they're running around all the
Oh, it's
paintings
so
up and down
good.
all the stairs is so
Yeah.
good. Like it kind of
All of the
had to be
hundreds of
moved.
paintings.
It kind of had to be moved for the sake of that scene.
Yeah. Although
For
you
like
could do that
making
in a
kind of feel like
corridor, I guess, but
yeah,
it's
but it
not
wouldn't
the
have
same
been as
effect.
like chaotic,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you wouldn't have had the like like you have the giraffe moving around,
Yeah.
like all the portraits at once.
Yeah.
That
I
would have been
guess
right. But yeah,
so.
connecting.
Anyway.
Anyways, Harry feels creeped out by the lamp he's holding in his hand. It says that it seemed to float along just by itself because obviously he's invisible. I mean,
I don't get why they have his hand as well in the cloak. Because then it's in the film, sorry.
yeah, yeah,
Because in the book he hold. I'm guessing that he like has.
almost like a glove.
Yeah, he's holding the cloak as a glove, and then he
Yeah,
wraps it around the lamp.
right. Yeah,
But in the film, he like has a little opening, and I'm like, then like you could see like his whole body.
I guess just for the sake of
Yeah,
making it clear what's going on.
yeah, I guess so.
Which I mean, that's kind of a
Boring.
boring explanation, but yeah.
Yeah.
He sees one book that has a dark stain on it that looked horribly like blood.
There you go. There's me trying to get a bit of Halloween into the situation.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
Can you imagine? Ugh.
it's a bit
Although it
gross.
doesn't say what animal's blood it is.
That's
Might not
true.
even be human.
It could just be someone's potions
Yeah.
ingredients that's spilt.
Could be a midnight tipple dipped on their bit of wine.
Yeah, true. And he
Don't know
says
why it has to be a
maybe
midnight tipple.
maybe he was imagining it, maybe not. But he thought a faint whispering was coming from the books, as though they knew someone was there who shouldn't be. That's so fun and magical. I
Yeah.
love stuff like that.
Yeah, me too.
That's the
And,
kind
and
of thing
I
that's...
know how he feels like, even if that wasn't there, like, I almost get that in spooky old places. You can kind
Yeah.
of sense the activity
Yeah.
that used to be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to follow my dad around when he's a caretaker he used to be a caretaker for schools, not just one, but where we last lived all together as a family, he was a caretaker for a particularly old school. Old school. And there was like lots of people reported seeing ghosts. We had like Halloween tours where my dad would set up like skeletons that would pop out, etc. And sometimes I would join him as he locked up. And it was just the creepiest thing ever. And that image of like whispering, really, it reminds me of that a lot. Those were cool though. I don't remember why I did it. Why I joined her in the first place. I think I might have been there for homework because we didn't really have a printer. Might have just been there for homework. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I'm going off on a lot of stories today, aren't I?
No, this is definitely a very chatty one. Harry just decides to pull out a book that he thought looked interesting. It was a large black and silver volume. This is just the most Harry thing.
I'll just
be
get
like,
started.
"Oh, that looks alright." Not looking at titles or sections, he's just grabbing random books. In the film, obviously, you have the face that pops out, but in the book, there's no mention of the book having a face.
Yeah.
I think this is a fun little film thing. Like, it's quite...
Yeah, I quite
cool.
like the effect of like the words like stretching around the skin of the face. Yeah, it's quite cool.
It really scared me as a kid.
Me too. It still
really scary.
makes me jump sometimes. It's like in that Lord of the Rings bit where Hagrid like and Bilbo are talking. It's just before Bilbo's party. And they're like smoking a pipe, and he's like, "This is going to be a night to remember." And then it like explodes. Oh, sorry, Dumbledore and no, Gandalf and Bilbo. Thank you, Gandalf and Bilbo are smoking their pipes, and it's just before Bilbo's party. I can't believe I did that. And he's like, "This is going to be a night to remember," and then it just explodes with fireworks, and it gets me every time, every single time.
Yeah.
Ugh, sorry.
It's really annoying. Yeah.
I don't like it when films don't do that, when they're like not horror films. You're not expecting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the film, this is where Harry sees Snape talking to Quirrell, which in the book happened ages and ages ago in the Forbidden Forest. And then in the film, Filch finds Quirrell and Snape and tells Snape about the broken lamp.
I don't actually. Did I say them? I think he just finds Snape singular.
Oh. Where's Quirrell? Oh, does Quirrell like...
Quirrell's just not there. Because Snape, in the book, Quirrell's not there.
No, this is saying in the film.
Oh, in the film! Oh, sorry. Yeah, carry on. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, in the film.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember what Quirrell does.
No, in the film. Oh, yeah, he does.
Snape is like, we'll have another little chat, Quirrell.
Yeah.
Where you...
When you decide where your loyalty lies.
Yeah, where your true loyalties lie. And he like... I love that little...
Oh, yeah, because he says something about, like, there's a lamp, it's still hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's still hot. That means it's students out of bed. Oh, dear.
Yeah, so then in the book, Filch finds just Snape.
Sorry about that.
We assume is doing night patrol. I don't know why, but for some reason, I just love thinking about the teachers doing night patrol. Like, what do they do? It's really
weird.
Just wandering around the school. Like, I don't know, I like to think that they have, I don't know, bring along knitting or something. Have some kind of something to pass the time.
Yeah, Dumbledore, like, writing in the air with his wand or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I don't know whether Dumbledore ever does night patrol.
No, I'd imagine not.
But this next scene
below
begs to differ. The scene with Erised begs to differ.
That's very true. Yeah, that's a good point. Harry gets scared about being found by them and backs into a corner. This is in the book. And he feels a door behind him and just goes into the room. The room in the book isn't empty. There are desks and chairs piled against the wall. And
there's an illustration of that, and I find it really hard to look at because I just can't imagine it like anything but how the film portrays it, like an empty room with a mirror in the middle.
For some reason, the like empty classroom with the tables like stuck to the side, because that's mentioned a lot, and I like it's just the exact same room, but just in different locations. Around the school.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I have this like blueprint, empty classroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mirror is not in the film. Is it freestanding or is it against one of the pillars?
Oh, I'm sure it's freestanding.
It's just in the middle of the room either way.
Carry on and I'll check while you're talking.
Yeah, it's propped against a wall. And then, of course, you have the inscription around the Mirror of Erised, which I will try to read now, although it's not really...
It's... Sorry, I found it. Sorry to interrupt.
It's okay.
It's technically freestanding, but it's like on a stand. It's kind of like an easel, so it's like resting on a big wooden frame, and then the big wooden frame has like a pole on the back of it that's like anchoring against the mirror. Okay. There you go. Yeah. So it's kind of freestanding.
Yeah, I would say that's freestanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's the inscription on the mirror reads...
You don't have to read it, but I thought it would be quite
read it.
interesting.
Well, That'd be kind of amusing.
Yeah.
It says, Erised stra eru oit ub kafru oit on washi. Which, read backwards, is I show not your... Wait, I'll read it from the docs. I'll which backwards reads, I show not your face but your heart's desire. So obviously Erised is just desire spelt backwards.
Yeah.
I wonder, what do you think the significance of it being spelt backwards is?
I just think, she was like, oh, this will be cool.
Maybe.
Yeah. I at the time when I was like first reading, I was like, oh, that's like genius. And I'm like, it's literally just backwards words. But
Yeah.
what I like is that, so like on wasi is I show not. So it breaks up the
Spaces
words.
are in different places.
Yeah, where they wouldn't be broken up in
No, I
words.
like that as well. It's not just like...
But yeah, I think maybe it's like because it's like a mirrored image of the words, maybe.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
I literally just thought of that. That was quite good.
That's cool. Yeah, that's good. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's probably it. Or that's just a good excuse that she now uses.
Yeah. So Harry wants to look into this mirror to see his invisible reflection again, because of obviously his invisibility cloak. But despite having his cloak on, he still sees himself and a whole crowd of people standing right behind him, at least 10 others. Harry,
can you imagine?
see,
That would be
this,
so horrible.
this is strangely... He's like, I've never thought about it this way before. He's so like chill. That's like horror movie material.
Yeah, well, he does like, doesn't he like, he had to clap his hands to his mouth to stop himself screaming. He whirled around, his heart was pounding far more furiously than when the book had screamed, for he had not only seen himself in the mirror, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So he is really scared.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Still
he is a
seems kind of
Gryffindor.
chill, like...
Yeah. A Hufflepuff is just like,
yeah. Imagine if you're like, oh, I'm gonna see my invisible reflection, and then you see just a bunch of people.
bunch of people. Yeah. Weird.
But
then if you use your brain for like 1 second, it's like, I've literally just walked through all of like that whole room. So surely they're not there.
yeah,
But that still freaks me out. Mirror stuff really freaks me out.
it's such a horror trope now as well.
Yeah.
That it just really
Even if I'm looking in the mirror and I don't see anything, I'm scared that there's something behind me that's not reflected in the mirror. So I always have to. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Our upstairs bathroom just doesn't have a mirror.
Oh.
Which I actually quite like.
Yeah. We have a really tiny one that like extends out.
Oh no, the worst is the ones you have on like on the
medicine
cupboard doors.
cabinet.
Yeah, exactly. That you then close and it like
Yeah.
Oh, I hate it.
Because then you like.
I quite like scary movies, but there's something about
Mirrors are just otherworldly, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, it's just scary how accurately they portray what is actually there. Yeah. And a lot of horror movies use them.
Yeah. Because they're creepy.
Yeah, and like as you say with the medicine cabinet thing, like if somebody was behind you, you wouldn't know until you draw them back.
And that movement has been used so many times in like scary films. It just
and you know it's coming, but it's still scary.
I hate it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
sorry for giving you nightmares.
He sees a bunch of people in this mirror, and Harry wonders whether the mirror's trick was to be able to reveal invisible people that are in the room, and if the room is actually full of people, and so he feels the air behind him, the air he's just walked through, as you pointed out, and realises this isn't the case because he can't feel anyone. Obviously, we know that Harry's seeing his family. One of the things that I do really love about the books, but I understand why it's just kind of unnecessary to do in the films, is that it's not just his parents.
Yeah.
In the books, you've got like his.
He wants to see all of his family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
not. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I think that's really cool. But yeah, he sees obviously his parents are kind of the main two.
Yeah.
And we get a description of Lily and James
First
for the first
description.
time. Lily was a very pretty woman. She had dark red hair and her eyes are just like Harry's, bright green and exactly the same shape. James is tall, thin, black-haired, has glasses and untidy hair, basically just exactly the same as Harry.
Yeah. Yeah. I really love this in a Harry Potter sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, those voices ringing out, la 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 la. I know them. It's so good. If you haven't seen the Harry Potter sequel,
Mm-hmm.
go and look at at least the Mirror of Erised song. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll put a thing
A
to
link.
link it.
Mm-hmm.
I've cried at that song,
Mm.
even though the guy, I don't think the guy who plays Sirius is a very good singer. But
It's a
I
little
think
bit
it adds
screamy, but
to the
yeah,
the tone.
it's the emotion is there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I would never do anything that would hurt you. Anyway, they were both my family. Anyway,
Anyways,
sorry.
yeah, no, definitely watch that. I mean, just watch all three of them.
Watch all
And
three of them. They're great. They're so good for
yeah,
any Harry Potter fan. They're just
of the
amazing.
books or films, but mostly if you've read the books and watched the films,
Yeah.
is when they're the best.
Yeah, they reference a lot from both. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And then when Harry says, "Mum, Dad," the reflections don't interact with him as they do in the film. They only smile.
I prefer that in the book because it shows that they're like not real.
Yeah.
They're just like they're not even ghosts or anything.
No.
They're just like images.
What he wants. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Whereas in the film, like she puts her hand on his shoulder and she smiles at him.
I mean, it's
all
really cute.
Yeah, it is really cute. That's true, but I think it kind of takes away the symbolism.
Sadness.
Yeah, and the sadness as well. Yeah, that they can't actually touch him.
Yeah.
They can't interact with each
I
other.
can touch you now.
That bit
no,
always
exactly.
creeps
It's
me
like
out.
they will never be able to interact with
Yeah.
each other.
Until he dies.
Mm.
If there's an afterlife in the Harry Potter
I feel
universe,
like,
which I think there
like
is.
wizard afterlife. Yeah.
Yeah. I think she heavily implies that.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
there's an on train, isn't there?
Right.
It goes
yeah.
on.
Yeah. Well, Mum, like, take me on.
I love
I
that.
love that bit.
Yeah.
And, like in the books and the films, it's just amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, we'll get to that maybe eventually.
In a few years' time.
Yeah. We'll be on our deathbeds recording that. Oh, how fitting. Anyway.
Oh, there we go. Hello from
Harry
beyond the grave.
Harry realises the people behind him are members of his family. He saw green eyes like his, other noses like his, even a little old man who looked as though he had Harry's knobbly knees. I mean, that's the best one, isn't it?
Yeah, I love that guy. I can just imagine him.
No, me too.
The little
I want
walking
to spin off about the Potter with knobbly knees.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the way Harry's like, oh yeah, he's got
Definitely
my
got my
eyes
knees.
and that bloke's got my knees. This is the one that gets me. He had
Yeah.
a powerful kind of ache inside him, half joy, half terrible sadness.
Yeah, I think we can all relate to that ache.
Mm,
I don't know about you, but I always feel it in like the pit of my stomach.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, so probably in my lower intestine. Because his stomach's actually quite high, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, pit of my stomach.
Yeah. Like that tightness.
Yeah.
In the book, Harry doesn't wake up Ron immediately, as he does in the film. He tells him the next morning, promising him that they'll go and he'll show Ron that night instead. They both think that they'll see each other's
Oh,
families.
this bit's so cute.
I'd like to see your mum and dad, Ron said eagerly. And I want to see all of your family, your brothers and everyone. Harry,
That's so cute that, like, Ron, like, some kids would be like, oh, that's lame, I don't want to see your family, why would I care about that? I'm 11 years old.
Yeah.
Leave me to my, like, playing exploding snap, please. But he's really excited to see his family. Yeah, it's nice.
Super cute.
And it shows how good of a friend Harry is as well, that he's
Yeah.
willing to let Ron look into the mirror
Yeah.
so he can see his family. Well, he thinks.
Yeah. Harry doesn't care about anything else besides the mirror. It says that he's like, well, who cares about Nicholas Flamel now? Who cares if Snape gets the stone? That doesn't really matter. I think it's really, Ron says, are you alright? You look odd. I think it really shows, like Dumbledore says later on, like how men have whisked away before, right? Like it just consumes you because often it's something you will never have or can never have. You know?
What it would be, I don't know what it would be. No idea. No anxiety. That'd be nice.
Yeah, good mental health.
Yeah. Something I'm not blessed with.
It's just me, but I'm smiling.
Yeah. I'm not dying inside.
I don't know if this will make any sense. I feel like it will make sense to you. Obviously, I want to like go to the Wizarding World to like meet people and hang out, but mostly I want to be able to like face a boggart and just see what it would be, and cast a Patronus and just see what it would be, and look into the reverse and just see what I would see in there. And,
have these magical experiences.
Yeah,
that's why I wish that Pottermore would go into it a bit more. Like, what would your boggart be? What would your...
Oh, but even that isn't really... You're not going to know. I think it's because I have such a thing about, like, identity. And, like, yeah, I just, like, but I'll never know. And it makes me very sad.
Yeah. For me, it's a bit easier with the boggart, but I don't know how the boggart would do it. Because I have phobias, and the different phobias affect me, like, I don't know, I have like a phobiometer. And my worst one is definitely the dark. It affects me the most, because the dark is around us all the time. Like, it's not really the dark, it's technically nyctophobia. Like so what could potentially be in the dark? So maybe the boggart would just cover my eyes, I don't know. I can't imagine. I had a really bad year when I was between the ages of 18 and 19 that year, where I was scared to blink. Sometimes it was really quite bad. I think because my anxiety was quite awful at that time as well. But yeah, that was quite something. I didn't want to go to sleep, didn't want to blink because I was afraid that my eyes would seal shut.
Wow.
But luckily that was only for 1 year of my life, and I'm not sure, maybe not even the whole year, but it wasn't very nice. So yeah, I think that's probably what my boggart would be. But
yeah, I have no idea.
What would your boggart be? Anyone listening?
Yeah,
comment below.
Personal, deeper stuff is fair.
That is a personal question. I do apologise. If you're willing to share.
Well, I mean, some people it's just like spiders.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
it's perfectly valid if that's your like biggest fear. I can totally get behind that. Spiders are horrible.
Harry and Ron eventually find the mirror again after a long search, and Ron tells Harry what he sees. Let me find the passage where he looks into the mirror.
I love this bit in the film. I look good.
Look at me, he said. Can you see all your family standing around you? No, I'm alone, but I'm different. I look older, and I'm head boy. What? I am. I'm wearing the badge like Bill used to, and I'm holding the house cup and the Quidditch cup. I'm Quidditch captain too. Ron tore his eyes away from the splendid sight to look excitedly at Harry. Do you think this mirror shows the future? How can it? All my family are dead. Let me have another look. Yeah. I think that, this is very telling about Ron, isn't it?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
he
I don't
says.
think it's that he dislikes his family.
No,
He
not
just
at all.
dislikes that he's in a big family and that
Yeah.
he is so often overshadowed by his brothers. And I think later on, even Ginny as well, because Ginny has like an amazing power within her with jinxes
Yeah.
and curses.
Yeah.
And
And being
Ron,
the only girl.
yeah, exactly. And Ron, I feel like he probably feels like he doesn't really have anything special about him.
Yeah. He's like just another Weasley.
Yeah, yeah. But I think Ron is a really special person. He's really, I don't know, quite a complex character, I feel.
Yeah. I love Ron.
Yeah, me
He's very
too.
underrated.
Yeah.
They then squabble over who gets to look in the mirror.
Reminds me of
Ron's,
that bit in the sixth film where they're like
yeah,
squabbling
for the
over the
book,
book.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ron's like, yeah, you got the whole night to yourself last night, and Harry's like, but you're just holding the Quidditch cup. Like, my
What's
dead
interesting
parents are
about
in
that?
there.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Harry here.
Yeah, me too.
Like Ron could get that
Right.
if he set his mind to it. He could get all of those things, but Harry literally can't get this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have to escape though because of Mrs. Norris. Harry is again just completely disinterested in everything. And Ron has a bad feeling about the mirror.
I quite
Rightly
like
so.
that Ron has this like insight. Quite unusual for Ron to be so suspicious of something.
Yeah, yeah. And then, of course, Dumbledore finds Harry the third time he comes to the mirror, and the conversation is pretty much exactly the same, book to film. And then Harry asks Dumbledore what he sees in the mirror, and Dumbledore says, "I see myself holding a pair of thick woolen socks." Although, let me find where he talks about. Oh, here it is. "One can never have enough socks," said Dumbledore. "Another Christmas has come and gone, and I didn't get a single pair. People will insist on giving me books."
I mean, I can see why that would be frustrating.
Yeah,
And I think that comes from a place of truth, but obviously that's not what he sees.
I love the idea of like incredible, wizard Dumbledore, who like obviously people are going to buy him like super like
amazing things, and he's like
amazing books, and he's like, oh, why is everyone buying me books? What's in my socks?
Yeah.
And of course, this is complete nonsense. It says in the book, it was only when he was back in bed that it struck Harry that Dumbledore might not have been quite truthful. But then, he thought, as he shoved Scabbers off his pillow, it had been quite a personal question.
So I think we know, we have seen one of two things that I think have been mentioned before that he sees. So I think it's, now I'm not sure, I haven't fact checked this at all, but the thing we haven't seen him see in the mirror is Ariana. Or I think what I have heard is his whole family being happy together.
Yeah.
So him, Ariana, his parents, one parent's not dead and one parent is not in prison, and Aberforth is happy with him. So I think that's one thing. And obviously in the new Fantastic Beasts film, we saw a quick glimpse. I'm not sure whether it's actually in the film or whether it's just in the trailer. I couldn't remember watching it in the film at all.
Me neither, but to be fair, I blocked that film from my memory.
Yeah. I actually quite enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as the first one. Anyway, I remember it in the trailer, and he kind of like has his hand on the mirror, and he's looking at Grindelwald.
Yeah.
Which I think at that point it was probably accurate, because Grindelwald was just going off, but he still loved him. And then obviously, because he hadn't had the fight with, when did Ariana die? Was it in the duel or was it in a less significant battle? I feel like it was in a less significant battle in
Yeah,
his
I
like back
don't
garden
think
or
it was in
something.
the duel.
Yeah. So he
No.
accidentally, someone accidentally kills Ariana, and nobody knows, but obviously Dumbledore blames himself. And I think then it probably changed because that was like, at least he had Ariana. At least Ariana still
Yeah,
liked him.
still loved him,
That's
yeah.
kind of a cherry on the top scenario where
Right.
it probably changed. But I think that's what it
Yeah.
is.
I would imagine, yeah, like Aberforth, Ariana, just like all the family, all the fam back together, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, just being, I guess, almost the same kind of thing as Harry,
Yeah,
really.
I mean, maybe that's why Dumbledore. I mean, we know that that's why Dumbledore can vibe with Harry so much emotionally. And I constantly wish that Dumbledore let Harry in on that, but he's a very secretive person.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I can understand why, but like, come on, that would have helped Harry out a lot
yeah.
to know that like this amazing, powerful wizard had such a troubling
Right.
past. Yeah,
Yeah,
like your parents are dead. At least you
absolutely.
don't know. At least you're not confused as to whether you killed them or not.
Even though Harry kind of technically did.
Well, Voldemort killed them, but he
Yeah,
killed them because he wanted to get to Harry.
yeah.
They sacrificed themselves for Harry. Harry
Right.
didn't say, "Look, go and die for me."
Yeah.
So I don't think you could blame Harry there, although he
No,
probably has some kind of guilt there. It's
probably.
always you
Like
always have
survivor's
survivor's
guilt.
guilt, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess then we'll have a quick little explore of the Marauders map. Again, very quick because, like I keep saying, at this point,
Oh, but
they're in the same place.
these ones are really interesting though. I like
Oh,
these.
all right. Thanks. In the films, the Hogwarts
Well, because
Library
I've
is.
been there to both of
Oh
them.
yeah. Oh, you've been to both of them.
Yeah, I've been to both. So one of them, the
Let
one,
me
yeah,
hang on. I'll read
yeah,
them
you
first.
do.
um,
Sorry.
in the films, the Hogwarts Library is Oxford University's
Bodleian.
Bodleian Library, and the mirror is located in one of the rooms at Laycock Abbey.
Yeah,
Where I've been to Laycock Abbey. I haven't been to I haven't been
Bodleian
to Oxford
Library.
University.
Well, so to get into the Bodleian Library, you need a guided tour, and I think they only do 3 a day with
Oh
limited
wow.
numbers because the students actually still use the library.
Right. Right.
Um, and the students need like special pass as well. All the books are chained to the wall. So because that's what they used to do to make sure people didn't steal the books because there were, obviously a lot of work used to be put into those books. So and to get the books from the shelves, they need to ask permission, and the person needs to take them with gloved hands. And I believe I can't remember which one it is, but I believe they either have to say, I want to go to a certain page, or they have to wear gloves while turning the pages because they're very fragile. I think that's the case. I can't quite remember. It's a really interesting place. It looks much smaller than in the film, and the film makes it look a lot bigger.
Right.
Although you're only really allowed in the entrance. You're not really allowed to go in the library, as I said, because it's studying times.
Yeah.
So it could be quite big, actually. Yeah, and then Laycock. So you've been?
Yeah, I think I have a photo actually of me like where the Rivera said was.
Yeah. So did you see like they have like a sign with like Harry Potter, like here's where.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it when places are like really proud of their like film
Yeah.
location. But correct me if I'm wrong, but is that not the place where they have potions classes as well?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Have we talked
A
about
lot
that before?
Yeah, I think I've mentioned it. I've
Alright.
definitely talked about Laycock Abbey before, whether it was just say
Yeah.
Hogwarts.
Yeah.
A lot was filmed at Laycock Abbey.
Yes. A lot of
And
like the walking through hallways and stuff.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of hallways and classrooms.
Laycock is a really interesting one because as you said, the Abbeys has loads, and then there's the actual town is
Right. Yeah,
filmed
you
in as
have
well.
not Slughorn's house, but
The house
the
that he
house
was
where
in.
we're stuck on staying. Yeah.
Yeah. People actually live there, and you can go right up to the gate, and I feel so sorry for those for
Yeah.
those people. Yeah.
They must get a bit sick of it.
Yeah, yeah. People taking pictures of their house,
Yeah.
standing in front of their house.
Also, where we talked about the Halloween decorations of the Great Hall, maybe we could have a little bit of a chat about the Christmas decorations.
Oh
of
yeah.
the set dressing.
Oh, let me just look it up. That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I love it when Flitwick is like floating like levitating the
Ornaments.
yeah.
The baubles.
Yeah. Oh, it's like 6 Christmas trees along the side, or it might be 8. And there's a huge Christmas tree at the front.
End.
Yeah, at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and I think there's wreaths as well on the fireplace. And it's snowing from the ceiling.
I mentioned this. I didn't realise that Halloween and Christmas would be literally back to back. I mentioned last time they have the like little witches that fly around the Christmas trees.
They're
They're
lovely.
so cute.
You can see them at the studio tour, aren't they? But they're not moving, are they? Or
I think
are they?
they are, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm pretty sure they are. I would love to get one to put on our Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Or even if it's just a witch.
Oh, I wonder if you can. Oh, I'm definitely gonna look that up. Harry Potter witch Christmas tree. No. You might be able to find it in the depths of the internet, made by like a weird indie artist on Etsy.
Yeah.
But there's no official. They're really missing a trick there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know how.
They do have plenty other merchandise and plenty of the ornament. Like there's like house or Christmas tree ornaments and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that concludes this episode of Potterwatch from page to screen.
Keep twiddling those dials. Keep each other safe. Keep faith. Good night. Sound like Jackie Chan's uncle. Aiyah, Jackie!